All right, welcome back to the North Shore Drive podcast. Before we get into some defensive talk, I want to tell you a little bit about Goldberg, Persky, and White. If you were diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, call your local attorneys at Goldberg, Persky, and White. For over 40 years, their firm has represented thousands of lung cancer and mesothelioma victims. You can call 1-800-COMPLEX or visit GPW Law for a free consultation. All right. So, Ray, I've been encouraged by Cole Holcomb. I'm not trying to get too far out over my skis. I've liked Payton Wilson as well. How do you see this shaking out? Does Cole Holcomb just, function as a super reserve? Can they find snaps for those two and Patrick Queen? Do they trade Cole Holcomb? What do you think happens?
No, I don't. It's going to be hard. I don't think they want to trade Cole Holcomb just because I think they love their inside linebacker depth. I mean, Terrell Austin was on the record back in June saying that this is the best depth at inside linebacker that he's had since he's been here, and he's been the DC since 2019. So when you develop that depth, and depth has been an issue in the past for like getting through seasons when there were injuries, I don't think they're going to be keen on trading away that depth. Here's how it might work. I think Patrick Queen and Payton Wilson are both going to start as full-time 3-down inside linebackers. But Jason, you know this. They're going to run into running teams who are going to want to pound the football against them, and they're going to see Payton Wilson. And Payton Wilson doesn't look like a guy who can handle the run. He's tall. He's not skinny, but he's got a thin frame. And I think people are going to challenge him. I think he's held up really well so far. He's not going to be a guy who's going to take on blocks, get to the ball. He's going to run underneath blocks, run around blocks. I think he's been effective doing that in camp and in the preseason. But teams like the Ravens and some other teams on that schedule are going to want to test him, and that's where Cole Holcomb and I think Malik Harrison will come into play. But I don't know about you, but Payton Wilson has been so impressive, just with his leadership, with his confidence. He really wanted this. He wanted this 3-down job. And I think they're going to give it to him to start the season, but these other guys are going to get their chances to play as well.
Well, and I'm with you there, right? I mean, he's earned it too. I was reflecting back on what he's done throughout his career. The only reason the Steelers got him was because of injury concerns coming out of college. Yeah. He's been healthy. He's been available. He's made plays. Like, it's not like he was some sort of like pass down specialist at NC State. He was an all everything linebacker, and that's showing in the pros. That being said, I like the way they're built right now. I like their linebacker depth. I agree with TA. And I want to keep Cole Holcomb involved. I want him to remain on the roster. I'm sure he would probably like to start. When Omar brought him in, the idea was to start. Yeah. But you know what? Keep guys fresh. That's what you're talking about. Like, if you're talking about stopping the run and being basically fixing your Achilles heel from that last season, I don't know. I would rather see them keep those guys and keep everybody fresh. You're going to have an injury. I think it makes the Steelers a better, deeper team.
So. Yeah, absolutely. Just look at what they did both in free agency and in the draft, Jason. So just take Payton Wilson out of it for a moment. You signed
it was all geared toward that.
Yeah. So you signed Malik Harrison to a 2-year, $10 million deal. Like, paying a guy $5 million a year, it's not necessarily starters money, but it's top backup money. That guy is going to have a role on this football team, and his role is going to be stopping the run in certain games. You also look at Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer was brought in, big body, defensive end type of body. He's going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker with the Steelers, but he's on the bigger side of some of their outside linebackers over the years. He's every bit of 260, pushing 270. And he was brought in, to be a force in the running game. They got plenty of pass rushers. I mean, Nick Herbig is your specialized situational pass rusher. He's the top reserve off the bench, but Sawyer's going to have a role on this football team too. And it's really nice the way these contracts are set up. This is the final year of Holcomb's deal. He took a pay cut to remain because of that injury. So if he plays well, he's going to have a chance to go out and make some money on the open market. So it could be a great situation all around. If he plays really well this year, he'll have a chance to go out and make some money somewhere else in the spring.
I've been a little underwhelmed by Jack Sawyer, Ray. Not in a concerning way. Like, I'm not, I realize he's not a first overall pick or something like that, but I went into this preseason thinking, hoping that he could really carve out a role for himself. He's been okay. I don't see him as any more than what you're saying. You're basically like the reserve outside linebacker who specializes in stopping the run and maybe a special teams guy, very top end. And if TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith get hurt, like obviously Nick Herbig is going to be elevated, and then I think that third spot is weakened a little bit. Are you surprised by what Sawyer has done, or is this about figured?
I've seen flashes in training camp where he's been really good as a pass rusher, but unfortunately, he's not going against starters very often, so he's going against backups who probably aren't going to be in the league, or if they're in the league, they're on the practice squad. He did have the one nice play in Jacksonville early in that game. He was able to bring Trevor Lawrence down, I think, for a short gain after he escaped the pocket. But overall, and I mean, this wasn't really in his toolbox coming into the NFL. He's just not a great pass rusher. You know, he's a guy who's going to get it done with hard work. He's going to have a motor, and that's the way he's going to get most of his sacks. But as far as running around tackles or, you know, putting on moves like TJ Watt or Nick Herbig or Alex Highsmith do, that's just not a part of his game. So I think the appreciation in his game is going to come as a run stopper. And let's not forget, the Steelers have been running him ragged. I mean, he's on every single special team.
It's true.
He's out there playing probably 60, 70 snaps in preseason games. He's probably dog tired out there. There's probably a reason he's dragging a little bit, but I think it's obvious. He's going to be on the squad this year as a special teamer. And if he plays, 5-10 snaps a game as an outside linebacker, that probably seems about right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Got to test him and see what he can bring in the regular season too. All right, last topic, Ray. I wanted to talk a little bit about the secondary. We're going into the final preseason game on Thursday night. I don't expect any of these guys to play. I don't know if any starters are going to play. It seems I don't know why we're here, but separate conversation. Communication issues plagued the defense quite a bit last year. I think that's fair to say. I think we can even say in the joint practice, I know reporting restrictions, but I don't think anybody was terribly thrilled with how the defense performed. So they're not going to get any chances to correct it before the Jets in week 1. Are you concerned at all that that's something early in the season that they still might be working out some kinks with Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., et cetera?
I'm concerned in the way I'm concerned about the passing game and the chemistry with Rodgers and his receivers, because there are new faces back there. Darius Slay is new. Jalen Ramsey is new. Juan Thornhill / Chuck Clark, they're new. So you do have a lot of new faces back there who haven't played together. And ideally, you would get them to play together in the preseason, but that's just not going to happen. When you're paying Jalen Ramsey $20 million a year and Darius Slay $10 million a year, you're sitting those guys out for the same reason you sit TJ Watt in these meaningless football games. So, you know, like as far as the puzzle pieces fit, like the broad picture, like I could see how they're really excited about this secondary, but we know what happened last year towards the end of the season. All the mistakes, you know, not only the Christmas Day game against the Chiefs, but those final 5 games where they just continued to drop the ball on defense and, you know, not stand up. Communication was a real issue. So maybe the new faces will help out in that regard. Jalen Ramsey is known as a really smart player. You know, Slay's been around too. That, like, picking things up shouldn't be a problem for them, but playing together, knowing where the other guy's going to be, that might be a little bit of an issue, at least early in the season, I think.
Yeah, I don't understand how you do it. I mean, you do it in practice, whatever. It's not the same as a game, and you're asking a lot of those guys. Like, you're talking about a different usage with Jalen Ramsey. And believe me, I'm not advocating playing these guys in the preseason. Like, that's craziness. But I'm with you. I have some concerns as well. And not so much like man-to-man coverage. Like, I think these guys are pretty talented players. I don't think, you know, I do believe it was smart upgrades. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I guess I go over to the offense a little bit, and I hope that the offense is capable of scoring some points. It wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers had to win their first couple of games, you know, 31-28 or something like that, or even a little bit more. I don't see this group being shut down heavy early on. And maybe that's, hey, maybe you rip TJ Watt loose or design some exotic blitzes, something like that. I don't know, but it's definitely a concern for me.
Well, the one thing the Steelers have going for them, and like I said, there's real concerns about the chemistry in the secondary and the chemistry with the Steelers' offensive passing game. But the one thing they got going for them is the schedule is it's easiest early, and it's challenging.
They have some
later.
time.
So you get the Jets and them trying to figure out how they're going to use Justin Fields, in the opener. Then you get Seattle at home. Seattle, they got Geno Smith, but he's a middle of the road NFL quarterback. You're at home. Find a way to win that game. Then you keep chipping off, the games in the first month of the season. You just try to find ways to win while these guys are learning and getting used to each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is a struggle early in both of those phases. But like you mentioned, the Steelers are good enough. They have good enough veterans that they could go out and find ways to win early. And I think that's where coaching comes into play. Mike Tomlin's going to have to be really good. His staff's going to have to be really good because these guys just haven't had a lot of reps in the preseason. And I understand it. They're getting paid a lot of money, but you got to work through it at some point, and they're going to be learning each other on the job. And that's not always an ideal situation.
Well, we will be watching. Might not have starters in there on Thursday, but we will still be watching, and we'll be talking about it here. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of this content and so much more from our Post-Gazette team on our North Shore Drive podcast and YouTube channel. For Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Jason Mackey. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.